He feels that weight is on his side tonight.
He is 27 and 7 and 97 pounds.
Comes with Army fatigue shorts. Washington, Bob, one thing that I noticed when I saw is it's going to be up to Toney. They just have that stiff old look.
Washington in 4. Mai was cut in round 2. Right to Orlandoris. Bar stoppage of Terry Porter.
Anymore at the age of 4. That's just with it to a certain extent because he's cute. He knows how to fight. Solid technically. Good hand speed is still there. Matter of fact, when he steps up in weight, his hand speed will be even better because the other guys aren't going to be as fast. They're just going to deal with that because he was never a walking guy. He was always a guy who was very adept.
Teddy, weight has really been a problem for both of them. He had to lose 2 and 3 pounds.
Their work ethic for both these guys have hounded them, have haunted them, have kept them from maybe being really special. Or obviously have hindered them when in some of their problems in their careers, as far as when they've had their couple of losses. Especially, as you said, with Adolpho Washington. 2 of his losses, as you said, he had to lose weight at the weigh-in, which is just work ethic. And if he had to lose 2 pounds, that means he was probably 8, 9 pounds over.
Fairly even first round. Underway. Punch numbers in round number 1. And you see that Toney landed 4 more punches. Landed some of the better shots in that round. Good left hand to the body.
That right hand count has been effective early on. Now Toney's turning southpaw, but he just for a second went right back. You better watch, he doesn't switch right in front of ready to defend. But Toney's been effective with that right hand counter when Washington has left that jab out a little too long.
Blood from the nose of Washington.
You can see Toney wants to work to that body. He's going to bring in that quick, short left hook back to the body. He's real good at that.
Teddy, we've seen as Toney has obviously grown in weight over the last 3 years or so, 4 years, that rounds against lesser opposition. It seemed to me that if Adolpho
admires it a little bit too much, and he can be out hustled. That's what happened, I believe, in the Montel Griffith fights. Even though they were real close fights, defensively he got so involved in making the guy miss that he forgot.
This is not normally something that you accomplish.
The only thing is, sometimes they make the guy miss, and as I said before, it doesn't always come back. Sometimes that could be a little lazy. And there could be a reason for that. When you're heavy, sometimes you're looking to conserve your energy, or you're just being...
Washington trying to pressure Toney near the end of round 2. Yes. Numbers in round 2, and you see that Toney...
You better go to the body. You better use the jab footed. You brought it up. That's why you can get away with it, because he didn't let you get away with it too often. Because he had a pretty good teacher back in those days, Bill Miller. Of course, Toney has a pretty good teacher. Freddie, of course, was a former pro fighter involved in some very exciting fights. See, this is where Washington, he's the bigger guy. He's made his whole career. He's in there with a guy who's a built-up eyes a little bit.
And then the right hand behind his elbow.
Doesn't figure to be able to outbox Toney. Inside is where he should take advantage of being.
With all the subtle skills that you referred to that Toney possesses, the slipping, the turning, being able to fight flat-footed, so on and so forth, you wonder if he's able to keep the weight under control. How?
But watch at the end here. He throws a nice counter.
Throwing more each round.
And you would figure that defensively as Toney and not as quick as he has another option, Bob, as I think about it. He could throw sometimes admiring his work too much. Admiring his defense. Out-hustle Toney a little bit. And you miss, like now. And he's not throwing back. After you throw, get out. Don't let him throw back too many. And that gives Adolpho a chance to get punches off and get out before something comes back. There goes a mouthpiece. But we'll find out in a second. The referee's going to wait for a low in the action to give it back. Toney doing good work inside here.
He makes one move too many, but Washington's not making him pay.
Laying in there, he's not going to the body. And Toney, bring that uppercut up. Oh, there it is.
Controlling this fight. How do you see it from your corner?
Yeah.
Inside outside. You would think he's just
be more effective with it and use his counter shots off. Kind of crowded himself a little bit.
Considering he's only fought once in the previous 2 years.
And my gym called me, and was training twice a day there. Something sparked James Toney to get serious again. I don't know what it was, but I'm sure happy he's there.
At least according to Teddy and I, we have it a shutout. Let's check in with Brian and Matt.
I know Toney real well. Buddy Rhodes. How about Buddy Holly?
Yep, got that one too.
That these lookalikes after that pick. I got to be a little careful.
I know where your son got his good looks from. And Julio Cesar Chavez and the effects after the fight of all the blood that Meldrick Taylor had swallowed in that dramatic loss.
You got to wonder if it fits right or if maybe the cuts are not. Somebody's calling for an uppercut if you can pick it up. But Toney threw an uppercut at Adolpho. Toney's the one who's doing all the clean punches. He's calm. He's able to fight inside. Toney's able to throw right inside, or he's able to make a miss and then counter. One or the other. And right there, straight right hand, right inside that little bit of a left hook. Inside, you want to keep your punches short because you don't want to.
Teddy is that you mentioned he's very calm and ready to block, even though the action's on the other side of the ring. Right hand from Washington, and again Toney makes him miss.
Fighting those right hands and pulling back. Roberto Duran, when he was young, he was aggressive. He was smart. That time the right hand might have gotten in a little bit. But most of them, Toney anticipates. He gets that shoulder up and he rides them. Right there, he rolled uppercut. That's what you want to do. Putting the peanut butter with real effective for Toney inside. Because Adolfo's leaning forward. Adolfo's getting all busted up here. Game is heck, but really getting busted up. Big puncher, Adolfo. And of course, Toney defensively so good.
He's been in against. He's never been stopped. And Washington has one knockout past round 6. And that was 5 years ago.
So you start to weigh that as a corner guy. I know Toney's, not a huge puncher at this weight. He's a much bigger puncher at middleweight, thick in the corner. You let the guy keep taking punishment if he has no chance to win.
Toney just tagging Washington.
But he was so active. He real often point his size with the top guys with obvious some spots where he gets caught.
Averaging nearly 11 rounds a bout. So obviously
taking punishment. So there's only so much to get it to the belt.
James Toney continues to bust up Adolpho Washington. Made the trip. Watch a little boxing. James Toney and Adolpho Washington underway, round number 9.
And Bob, you're not yourself. Of course, you're too modest to say. What did you shoot today?
Just a birdie on 18 for the 69. Anyway, would be in the clubhouse because he is busting up Adolpho Washington.
And now he's making little movements too. He's throwing a punch with his feet set to the right hand go by. The only thing he's not doing really is coming back with that right. There he seems so instinctive. It's not even like you want to make it a habit where you don't have to think about it, Bob. Where you Customato used to say to you make it so repetitive where it becomes instinctual and habit. When you're under pressure, you don't think about it. You can't do it wrong if you wanted to. Go out and start eating too much. Now he fought last night in Atlanta, Georgia, home of Evander Holyfield, and he got his 9th win. Stevie Johnston, the fault.
And you see Toney much more accurate. Now he's just teeing off on Washington.
Again, you have to think in the corner about whether or not you want your guy to keep taking this kind of punishment, because in my estimation, he can't win the fight. He's not a big enough punch, and he's got a guy too slick. Well, the referee does it.
But you made the correct point. Washington is taking a lot of shots.
And I don't think he can win the fight. He doesn't have the kind of style. He's not a big puncher, and he's got a guy in front of him for another 2 rounds, including the 9th. I mean, 1 more round, I'm sorry.
He missed there, but he's just sort of tattooing the ears of Washington. And Washington, a lot of blood in his mouth. Kept on losing. Toney, throughout 10 rounds of this fight, just pummeled Adolpho Washington. In fact, Teddy Atlas and I both had a unanimous decision for James Toney going into that 10th and final round, and he strictly dominated.